CBS fires a delusional Scott Pelley. Let's check it out. And welcome to Rob Schmitt Tonight. Earlier this week, a tech journalist named Nick Bilton started his new job as the new head of 60 Minutes. On his first day, he held a meeting with his staff, he brought in bagels, and he was immediately attacked by the biggest ego in the building, and that would be Scott Pelley. Pelley humiliated the new boss on his very first day, the very first morning, telling him he'd never be welcome at 60 Minutes in front of the entire staff, and attacking the woman who hired him as well, the new head of CBS News, Bari Weiss. Pelley then mocking Bilton when he said he cares deeply about running this news magazine, again on his very first day. That mocking leading the staff to laugh Bilton out of the room. Imagine a moment like that when you just took a really big job. Pelley's allies then leaked a recording of all of that to the media, to their favorite left-wing papers, the Washington Post and the New York Times, of course. And when confronted about all of this, the next day, Pelley mocked the executives and demanded an explanation for why other staffers that he liked had been fired from 60 Minutes. Scott Pelley thought he ran CBS News, apparently. He was literally begging to be fired this week. There's never been a stronger case to fire someone for insubordination. And yet the fact that this has happened is being treated like a national tragedy by many on the left.
They're burning it all down, and let's not mince words. Let's be frank. Let's be like Scott Pelley. They're burning it all down because they want to please Donald Trump and his political movement.
There is nobody who is more acutely attuned to the value of a free press than those who are trying to take it away. There's nothing else going on at CBS News other than what we can see is happening at CBS News. And I don't know where Scott Pelley will land. Frankly, I hope he lands right here. I hope that everybody in journalism and everybody who values a free press figures out ways to outmaneuver the people who are trying to take the free press from us.
Here is our job. Boycott every thing on CBS News. They don't care about journalism. They don't care about the Constitution. They don't care about a free press.
Yeah, Jennifer Welch knows a lot about journalism and the Constitution, right? Boycott CBS is the new message. They fired an egotistical grandstander who humiliated his new boss on his first day. And they think that he didn't deserve to be fired. Scott Pelley was begging to be fired. That was the point. This is what he wanted. He's 68 years old. He knows his run is over anyways. He's a rabid leftist and clearly would rather retire than work for a company that no longer is going to let him push his ideological beliefs, which is what he has been doing for many years. And the fact that these crazy lefties are so enraged by this firing actually tells you everything you need to know. He was a propagandist for their cause, and that is why they're so furious. From Jim Acosta, of all people, the guy that CNN told you was a non-biased White House reporter who now has a left-wing podcast. Acosta saying when Pelley says CBS is meddling in his reporting for political reasons, believe it. Because that's the claim that Pelley is making tonight, that CBS is trying to force a right-wing agenda into his reporting. No, not even close. In reality, CBS is stopping its reporters from injecting their politics into the reporting. And all these reporters that think they're down the middle, even though they're way over on the left. The left is losing yet another corrupted institution. That's the fury of all this. CBS, a federally regulated broadcast network that has a duty to not take a side. If Scott Pelley was a standard reporter with no bias, of course the lefties wouldn't care about this at all because he wasn't doing anything to promote their cause. But for years now, Scott Pelley has been one of many at CBS pulling the network further and further to the left. A commencement speech just after Trump got back into office really told you everything you needed to know about Scott Pelley.
But in this moment, this morning, our sacred rule of law is under attack. Journalism is under attack. Universities are under attack. Freedom of speech is under attack. And insidious fear is reaching through our schools, our businesses, our homes, and into our private thoughts. The fear to speak in America.
He really said that 3 months after Trump got into the White House. It's amazing. Scott Pelley furious as Trump course-corrected a very broken system after being brutalized by it for years leading up to the 2024 election. Where was Scott Pelley when the Democrat Party and the left started all of this? When they were suppressing speech? Where was Scott Pelley when that was happening during COVID? Where was Scott Pelley? Attempting to financially destroy and imprison the Republican candidate before an election in a two-party system. Where was Scott Pelley on that? He was silent. He was enjoying the show with popcorn. Scott Pelley's outrage only moves in one direction. He is a ridiculous excuse for a journalist. He hasn't been one in a very long time. The best example we can give you, of course, is the Hunter Biden laptop, the October surprise from the 2020 election, which CBS News, the entire organization, refused to investigate for more than 2 years. They wanted nothing to do with that laptop for 2 years. And they waited until Joe Biden was securely in the White House, and they waited until after the consequential 2022 midterms to do about 2 hours of work confirming that that laptop that laid out so much corruption and deviance was indeed the property of President Biden's son. Yes. Where was Pelley? Didn't say a word. More than happy to work for 60 Minutes and CBS News in that moment. Proud. Imagine Pelley, imagine his behavior if that laptop had belonged to Don Jr. and CBS said, we're not going to look at it for 2 years. He would have lost his mind. None of these people are ever aware of the biases that are so obvious to the rest of us. And the simple reason is they live in a journalism bubble of leftism that covers Manhattan, where I sit, and Washington, D.C. as well. They are not affected by the real world. What Scott Pelley does next could very well validate the decision by CBS to fire him. He'll probably start the Pelley podcast, and he'll probably sound just like Jim Acosta or ABC's Terry Moran, who was on CNN earlier this evening, just a couple hours ago, crying over Pelley's firing.
ABC News fired you because you went on Twitter and you wrote that Trump advisor Stephen Miller eats his hate as spiritual nourishment. You said that both he and Trump are world-class haters. The White House demanded your head, and ABC News provided it. What do you think is going on at CBS News? Do you think it's related at all to what you went through at ABC News?
Different stories, right? I've always felt like that company has its policies. They said I violated them. I thought I had said something that was accurate, fair, and true. This is different.
I thought I had said something that was accurate, fair, and true. He really thought that. First off, since when does ABC News, as Tapper alleges here, listen to the White House on demands for people to be fired? ABC? The entire catalog of the network is pure anti-Trump. George Stephanopoulos runs the morning show. You got The View at midday, and then you have Jimmy Kimmel at night. You think ABC is listening to the White House when they say fire Terry Moran? And Terry Moran thinking that that Stephen Miller tweet that he put out was just fine, while working as a D.C.-based reporter, proves exactly the point that I'm trying to make. They have no self-awareness. They have no idea how ridiculous they are. They just think they're right, and their ideology is the only acceptable one. Meanwhile, the ratings for 60 Minutes have plunged over the last 10 years. Look at that graph. Just don't tell Scott Pelley's ego. All right, Dave Rubin is the host of the Rubin Report, joins us now. And Dave, I think the most incredible thing about this story is the inability of these people like Scott Pelley to see how biased they are, how biased CBS and 60 Minutes had become. I think the best example of that is the fact that Scott Pelley said absolutely nothing. Nobody did. When CBS News refused to confirm Hunter Biden's laptop story, they waited more than 2 years at CBS to do a 2-hour job. They waited until Joe Biden was safely in office. They even waited until a few weeks after his midterm election during his presidency to do something again that takes about a couple hours to confirm the veracity of a laptop. Pelley said nothing.
Yeah, and
And Donald Trump tried to bring that up repeatedly in that infamous interview with Leslie Stahl. You know, you could go through all of the hoaxes that we've been through, whether it's Very Fine People or several of the COVID things, Russia, obviously connected to the Hunter Biden laptop story. And it's not like 60 Minutes has been great on any of these, to say the least. But at the end of the day, Barry Weiss was brought into CBS News to clean house. They're having a ratings problem, and that's aside from the journalistic integrity problem. And she's running the show now, and she's allowed to keep on people she wants to keep on, and she's allowed to get rid of people she doesn't want. And once Pelley went after Nick Bilton, the new EP, and then went after her personally, and then really sort of paraded it around the other staff. Well, Rob, I work with guys. I'm the boss. If they start talking crap about me, guess what? They don't have a job. It's not that complex.
Even Chris Cillizza, the CNN guy, said, I mean, how on earth would you not fire this guy for what he did? So everybody out there, I mean, I see my Twitter feed is full of people screaming that he should sue and how outrageous this is. This is not an outrageous firing at all. I mean, this is fully justified.
No, and if I can offer Scott Pelley a little advice, it's like, dude, try to go independent. And, you know, I know you got millions and millions of dollars a year to be on 60 Minutes, but see how much you actually are worth. Let's test this thing in the market. If you're as great as you purport to be, and I'll pretend you are for the purposes of this conversation, why don't you try to do a show like many of us do online and hire a staff and see if you can make money on it and do a great show that'll get great ratings. Otherwise, you're just an interchangeable part in a chair, man. And I think that's what he's probably going to find out.
You perfectly put that. That's exactly because, as I'll put this out there, that I think Scott Pelley is a product of fantastic producing at CBS. And no matter what you think about CBS News for the last 30 years, they do have some of the best producers in the business. They've put him into some of the most high-profile interviews and into some of the best stories. But at the end of the day, I think Scott Pelley is mostly just a talent. And when you look at just the talent of Scott Pelley, he's one of the most boring baritone people to ever do the job. So what was so fantastic about him to begin with is something that I don't understand. It's not like he's this tenacious reporter that's getting all of this breaking news that has all these sources. We see those people out there, and they're fantastic. Scott Pelley's only real skill was doing the talking, and the talking was terrible.
But again, even if he was a generational talent, you can only get away with so much about going against your boss and the person who runs the network. So yes, would you have more of a leeway, let's say, if you were an incredible dynamic talent and they knew, they were looking at the numbers and they were like, boy, this guy drives viewership. People tune into this show to hear him. Would that give you a little more of a leeway, maybe to poke at the new executive producer? Probably, but I think what they will find out is they will put someone in that exact same suit he's wearing right there. They will sit on that exact little stool right there, and the ratings will, well, my guess is the ratings will go up a little bit because what Barry's trying to do is bring them back to the center, which is obviously where most of America is.
Well, 60 Minutes has been going like this for years and years and years with Scott Pelley. Scott Pelley was the anchor of the CBS Evening News, and the ratings went like this. He's very fortunate to have gotten all of those big paychecks for all of those years from CBS because it seems like he didn't deserve them very much. Dave, I got to leave it there. Thanks so much. And by the way, let me just get in this real quick. You can check out this upcoming event, Florida Man, with Governor Ron DeSantis, Adam Carolla, Jillian Michaels, next Thursday night. Dave, tell us about this.
I'm super excited for this. You know, I really set this up because I wanted it to be a celebration of Ron DeSantis, who's obviously in the waning time of his second term here, and he has turned Florida into the true citadel of freedom and the map for what America should be. You know, everyone says make America Florida. So it's going to be, we're going to do a live Rubin Report show that day that I'm going to write from the morning headlines like we do every day. We'll do a sit down with Governor DeSantis. Carolla is going to do a little stand up. We'll do some fun stuff with Jillian. I'm hearing rumors of tequila and giveaways and all sorts of stuff, and people can go to daverubin.com/events. And I appreciate the shout out, my friend.
Of course, Florida Man with Governor DeSantis and some of my favorite people in that group too. That's going to be fun. Good to see you, Dave. Thanks so much.
Thanks, Rob.
All right, Trish Regan, host of the Trish Regan Show, joins us now. Good to see you. The fact, I think, Trish, that the left is so furious over Scott Pelley's firing is, in a way, proof that he wasn't just a non-biased journalist. He was clearly a propagandist at a network that had lost its way over the last couple of decades. And the fury that you're seeing from very far left people, I think, indicates that. If he was just a regular journalist that was just doing his job, they wouldn't be so offended by this.
Well, even if he was just a regular journalist, to be perfectly clear, Rob, they want to make something out of nothing wherever they can, right? So they're going to take every single opportunity to turn it into something that it may not be. I mean, what I can tell you about CBS, having worked there, is that the place is very insular, meaning they don't like outsiders. They don't want Barry Weiss coming in from afar and telling them what to do. They don't want David Ellison telling them what to do. They know exactly what to do, and they've been doing that way for a zillion years, and they want to continue doing it that way. And the reality is that she's up against a culture that sure has TDS on steroids, because who in the media apparently doesn't, except for, Newsmax and, a few others and some podcasters out here. But I would say, yes, it's for sure a case of TDS, but it's also a case, and this is what makes it really difficult, I think, for new management to combat, is that you have an entire organization that feels very strongly nobody should be telling them what to do, and they're going to make this about Trump as much as they can, because why not? Then you get the New York Times on board, and then you get every other mainstream media journalist on board with you, on your side, and that's how they think they're going to win. But let's just be honest. They haven't been winning for a long time. They've figured out that they could be the #3 network and barely pull a number, and somehow that's okay. The reality is we're in a new world for journalism. We're in a new world for media. There's a lot of authenticity. There's a lot of personality, right? There's a lot of transparency. And you see that, for example, on your show. We know who you are. We know where you stand. You see it in the streaming media world with my show. You know exactly where I stand, and then some. And the problem with these networks is that they're trying to pretend they're journalists, right, with a capital J, and yet they have a clear bias, and they're never even telling you about it. And so I think there's a lot going on here, but my best to Barry Weiss, I mean, I think she's up against a lot, and Nick, who's coming in as EP, they are not going to accept him. And so, or
I was fortunate enough.
The whole place is going to have to get blown up.
Yeah, I was fortunate to be able to speak to Larry Ellison on the phone, months ago, maybe 6 months ago. And he told me, very honestly, he said, listen, I was friends with Walter Cronkite. Larry Ellison's like 90 years old. I was friends with Walter Cronkite. I went boating with Walter Cronkite. All I want to do is take this network and bring it back to what it was before CBS took a left turn. That's all he wants. That's all Barry Weiss has been hired to do. This is, the idea that this is all to satisfy Trump. And it's ridiculous. What these claims are outrageous.
Well, think about that network, too, back in its day. That was a network that was on the cutting edge of technology. They were coming up with all kinds of new stuff. TV was a new medium. Radio was new stuff. So they were all over that. They were like the meta, if you would, of that day. And so you think about Larry and, of course, his son David. They're coming in. David's got a tech background and an entertainment background. And he's saying, why can't we make this more cutting edge? Why can't we have new technology and sort of a new approach? Well, let me tell you, no one at CBS wants a new approach, because they're still sort of, reminiscing about Cronkite. The problem is the real Walter Cronkite. So the world would be out there doing real journalism.
Exactly.
And I look, for example, at somebody like Nick Shirley, right? Pounding on doors and figuring out what's going on at the Leering Center. That's the 60 Minutes of today. You think about what you're doing at Newsmax with real opinion, and we know exactly where people are coming from. That's actually much more genuine and authentic and trustworthy than any of the glossy stuff that you're getting weeks after the fact at CBS.
Yeah, trying to inject your personal opinion into news stories and get your bias, and which is what they've been doing, at least what Pelley's been doing for a long time. You listen to the speeches he gives, the speech he gave at that commencement, he gave away the whole game. And I can't wait for the Scott Pelley podcast to show us exactly who he is, because that's what they all end up doing, just like Terry Moran,
but
just
it'd be
like
nice to know who the guy really is, because we know who he is, right? But he's been pretending to be something else. And I think that's the problem with all of the media these days.
That's exactly right. Trish, good to see you. Thanks so much. Appreciate it. All right, in California, it was a huge night for Steve Hilton and Spencer Pratt as Karen Bass tries to spin a horrible performance.
We got a lot more to go, but so far it's looking good.
And then later in News from the Left, Bernie's ridiculous excuse for continuing to support Graham Plattner.
Maybe let's understand that nobody is perfect.
All across the nation.
So we heard a lot about Gaza recently. We're going to head down there, check it out.
We're going to be doing our show right here from Minneapolis.
People can't stop talking.
I agree mostly with a guy from Newsmax. We're not all bad dudes.
About Carl Higbie.
Oh, yeah? What are you going to do?
Will you come check it out of my ham? I'm gonna eat half this plate during the break. Maybe I'll call the ICE hotline. I don't know if I'll have enough time.
And Frontline for the big news they need to know. Watch Carl Higbee, Frontline.
Hi there, I'm Dean Heskin, President and CEO of Swiss America. Most investors believe their IRA, 401k, and bank accounts are reliable and safe. But what if our economy becomes so dire that you're restricted from accessing your own money? The fact is that should your bank be in trouble for holding bad loans, the burden could fall on you to help bail them out. Even more concerning is that U.S. financial regulations allow banks to impose withdrawal limits on your hard-earned savings. But there's something you can do about it. Our team at Swiss America has a report called The Secret War on Cash. Learn how to protect yourself with assets that can remain outside the control of banks and other financial institutions. For over 40 years, Swiss America has been one of the most trusted metal firms in the country. So don't wait. Call or text the number on your screen today for financial peace of mind in these uncertain times.
The Dutton Ranch. We're back in business.
You heard right. Let's go to work. I'm glad you're making friends, honey.
You're every bit as advertised.
You're damn right he is.
Fighting a good fight, buddy.
Welcome back. So it's looking like it was a pretty good night for common sense in the state of California, but we're still counting votes, right? Spencer Pratt, Steve Hilton performing quite nicely in the top two primaries. Unfortunately, it's going to be days of counting mail-in ballots, and we know how that can go. In the L.A. mayoral race, Karen Bass is heading into a runoff, an absolutely brutal performance for an incumbent vying for a second term. They never usually have to go past primary day. She got nowhere near the 50% threshold, though, 34, 35%, something like that, with 60% in at this point. Bass desperately trying to spin her performance as positive in a city where everybody seems to hate her and nobody wants her to be the mayor.
It's looking good so far. We got a lot more to go, but so far it's looking good.
Insufferable little communist woman. Spencer Pratt, as you just saw, second place right now at about 30%. We're going to see how that holds as they count all the mail-ins, of course. We know how that goes. He's holding on to third place, though, is Nithya Raman. That's the lunatic council member who fought to allow crackheads to continue to be very close to schools and then had a meltdown when somebody put up a mock homeless encampment right outside of her $3 million house as a protest. That was one of the moves that tanked her for sure. It was quite fun to watch Raman crying as she watched the results come in last night, revealing herself to be pretty much in dead last.
I hope you know that everything every person in this room is fighting for in this campaign has been about building a city that's worthy of you.
I just want to destroy the city. Let me do it. Jillian Michaels, host of the Keeping It Real podcast. Victor Davis Hanson, senior fellow at the Hoover Institution. Both Californians, both join us tonight. Jillian, if you took a naked crackhead and ran him on the Democrat ticket in that city, he might have outperformed Karen Bass last night, because 34% is really bad for a Democrat incumbent in L.A.
You know what? It is a very surprising victory for Spencer that he got this far, in my opinion. But you've got the absolute master on, so I can't wait to hear what VDH has to say. But I was really impressed that he got this far, and it really is a painful indictment of the devastating performance that Karen Bass has put on as the L.A. mayor.
Yeah, it really is. Victor, before I let you go, I just want to say that they're counting the mail-ins now, and it's interesting. I don't follow Polymarket, these betting markets, very often, but they now have Nithya Raman surging, and Pratt, they're saying, is going to lose in the betting markets as they begin to count the mail-ins. With that, let's hear your perspective on what we saw last night.
Well, I've spent most of my life in California. It's a running joke here with our Democratic congressman that he always loses on Election Day. And then the SEIU and the California Teachers Association and the dubious legal status votes come in and he wins. So I was very worried. I was talking to someone today, and he was very exuberant. And I said, it's not over in California till it's never over. And so I'm very worried about that because Karen Bass had 58% Democratic registration in LA, city of LA. The rest, and poor Spencer Pratt, I'm not saying he was a doctrinaire Republican, there's only 15% Republican vote. So it was amazing that he did so well so early, but they have ways of winning that are just like nowhere else in the world. I mean, this vote will not be, I don't think it'll be completed for another 2 weeks. And that gives a time frame for a lot of various and dubious actors to affect the vote. I don't want to be a conspiratorialist, but what he's done so far is amazing, given the registration of Republicans and the amount of money they have and the union support. So it's an amazing achievement, a great campaign, but let's wait till it's over because these people will stop at nothing.
You're exactly right about that. Jillian, if Pratt doesn't get into the top two and if he's out after this primary, do you think that a lot of people that live in Los Angeles and California have a kind of another awakening and say maybe it's time to head out?
You know, that's the problem, is that so many of us have headed out. I headed out, and then it just hurts candidates like Spencer or Hilton or Bianco in moments like these. And I don't want to be conspiratorial either, but I was thinking exactly what VDH was saying, and you're already seeing it online, and you've got Newsom bragging about how even in the gubernatorial race, you had two Republicans. In the general election, there was a break the glass scenario. Nobody even knows what the heck he was referring to. That's how nefarious, that's what a bad actor people like Newsom and the Democratic establishment are in the state of California, in my opinion.
The left is a really scary thing, and it knows how to consolidate power, and it knows how to stay in power. That's probably the thing that it does best. It certainly doesn't govern best. Before I let you guys go, Victor, in New Jersey, you had this Democrat, Adam Hamawi, has won the primary in a very blue district. He was a volunteer for an al-Qaeda-linked group in the 90s. He was a defense witness for an Islamic cleric who was convicted of inciting the 93 World Trade Center bombing. Egyptian-born combat surgeon in Iraq War, but volunteered in Bosnia for an Islamic nonprofit that was a front for al-Qaeda and Osama bin Laden. This is going to be a congressman in New Jersey. That's a very blue district. What do you think?
Yeah, if you said that 5 years ago, people say that was a cruel caricature. And we had El Said win in Michigan. These are outright anti-Semites. They hate the United States, I think, as it's presently composed. And pretty much it confirms the reality that if you're a Democrat running in a primary and you expressed even a slight neutrality on Israel, or you won't, and you condemn, if you were to condemn anti-Semitism, you're dead. That's it. You're not going to be a viable candidate. That party is a socialist-Islamicist party now. That's what it's becoming. And that's an odd mix given the illiberal nature of Islam. And combine that with supposedly very liberal left-wing socialism, but what combines the two is a hatred, a venom, and it's really disgusting.
The Red-Green Alliance, and in Iran, after they got the power, they just killed all the socialists and the Islamists ruled. That's how it kind of goes. Jillian Michaels, Victor Davis Hanson, good to see you both.
You.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Have you ever met an immigrant from Bhutan? I have not. But thanks to fraud, most of them, it appears, are doing incredibly well in our country. Congressman Brandon Gill has a very interesting story up next.
We've been building chainsaws for over 100 years. Now, that century of cutting comes in a mower. New blade, same bloodline. Right now, save $50 on select mowers. Steel.
Sir, he's here to see you.
So, are you ready to join forces?
PCMag provides complete protection for your computer and smartphone against malware and ransomware, and it's 100% American-made and supported security.
Today, Cyberman and his unknown partner delivered a massive victory, protecting homes, businesses, and federal devices from ransomware.
Get protected now at PCMatic.com.
My name is Karen, and I'm the head pharmacist at Corvallis Drug. This pharmacy has actually been here for over 100 years. I love the fact that I know all of my customers by name. We'll get customers come in and they're looking for a brain supplement, and Prevagen is the one I recommend. My husband, I put him on it about 6 months ago, and he's noticed a difference. I've noticed a difference in him. It's just a product that I believe in.
Prevagen has been the #1 selling brain supplement nationwide for over 10 years.
Since 1990, the lightweight Craig Cat has meant quality, affordable boating. Florida Sports Magazine called the Craig Cat an absolutely brilliant breakthrough in watercraft design. With the stability and comfort of a large boat, but the fuel efficiency and portability of a small boat, Craig Cat has put the fun back in boating. Craig Cats are also available in both electric and hybrid models. Call Craig Cat now, toll free at 877-999-4CAT, and step into a Craig Cat.
Kevin Sorbo here, and I have an important message to share. The government needs more money, your money. If you owe the IRS back taxes, they can garnish your wages and levy your bank accounts. They can even seize your retirement or take your home. Don't let the IRS target you. Call the professionals at Tax Network USA. Their tax lawyers and enrolled agents are experts in powerful programs that may even help you eliminate your tax debt.
Call for a free consultation or visit tnusa.com.
New Cologuard Plus?
Yep.
Colon cancer screening delivered to your door? Check. No prep? Check. Non-invasive?
Checkity check check. And it detects 95% of colon cancers, similar to colonoscopy.
Checkity check check.
The Cologuard Plus test is for people 45 plus at average risk. False positive and negative results may occur, not for those at high risk. Introducing Cologuard Plus. It's the box that checks all the boxes for screening. Ask your provider or request Cologuard Plus online.
As a neurologist, my patients are often concerned with age-related memory decline. I recommend Cunol Brain Health with 2 powerful, high-absorption ingredients clinically shown to improve memory, focus, attention, and more. Cunol, the brand I trust.
Fraudsters and cheats are stealing billions in hard-earned American tax dollars. Today, we're going to be focusing on Ohio. Taxpayers have lost an estimated $1.2 billion due to fraud. Well, just like in Minnesota, many of them are Somali. So what do we know about these businesses that are facilitating Medicaid fraud? Many of them operate out of largely abandoned, often windowless buildings. Many of these companies appear virtually indistinguishable from one another. Why was this allowed to happen? Of course, part of the answer is, in fact, immigration.
All right, that's Congressman Brandon Gill right there leading a House oversight hearing highlighting the widespread fraud in Ohio's Medicaid home and community-based services. Estimates suggest the amount of fraud in the HCBS program is potentially over $1.2 billion. And again, this is just one state. One of the witnesses, investigative Daily Wire reporter Luke Rosiak, uncovering shell companies that often operate from empty offices or shared addresses. We've seen this story before. Billing taxpayers for services they never provided. Gave an example of a refugee family from Bhutan, a country you never hear about, that allegedly received $27 million through these companies for caring for the elderly. One of the kids, the son, lives a very lavish lifestyle. Take a listen to this.
A 29-year-old named Rashan Adkihari works at his dad's home healthcare company. His social media documents a life fit for a rapper or a movie star. He's drinking champagne on private jets. He's on his yacht. His dad has this company that was paid $17 million for taking care of old people. The dad hasn't paid taxes in like 5 years. And the 25-year-old brother has his own home health care company that got $10 million. So these are people that came here as refugees, and now they're living as millionaires.
It's just unbelievable. Congressman Brandon Gill chaired today's hearing and joins us now. I've never met anybody from Bhutan. We don't have a lot of people from that country here because it's a small country, but I understand they're doing quite well in the United States.
They are doing quite well, and the largest Bhutanese population outside of Bhutan is in Ohio. And what we found is that that is an epicenter. The Bhutanese community, is an epicenter of this Medicaid fraud, just like you saw the Somali community being the epicenter of Medicaid fraud in Minnesota. They're also very involved in Ohio, and I think it raises a lot of legitimate policy questions about what our immigration system looks like. For instance, we can ask very basic questions, and that's what I attempted to do in the hearing today. Does immigration from Somalia or Bhutan benefit the American people? And I think the answer is clearly no. Yeah. And that's something we ought to be straightforward about.
You asked that question to a very left-leaning, I think, state senator from Ohio that got very angry at you for asking what everybody's thinking. I saw that clip as well. The president, going on Truth Social, posting about this, said we could balance the budget if we got rid of all this fraud. Also saying that he thinks that the Democrats are in on it. That's why they're fighting so hard against it. Your thoughts on that?
I think that there is an enormous amount of fraud that we have yet to uncover, whether it's in California or in Illinois or other states across the country. You know, every time we dig in on one state, whether it's Minnesota or Ohio, I always get frustrated because it feels like there's 48 more states that we could be looking at as well. And the reality is this is not an issue that should be politically divisive. Both Republicans and Democrats should theoretically both be able to say, we don't think it's proper to waste tax dollars by funneling it to criminals. But unfortunately, you've seen Democrats fight us every single step of the way in Minnesota, and certainly Democrats in Washington fighting us on uncovering fraud in Ohio.
It's so vile to see how angry they get at anybody that wants to find money that's being stolen from us. That does indicate, I think that's why the president says they're in on it, because what other conclusion could you possibly come to? And real quick before I let you go, just wanted to bring up a story that popped today that just is beyond belief. You have an Iranian tech CEO who's living, I believe, in Newport Beach, California. This guy lives in a $35 million house in Newport Beach. And in his spare time, he has been supplying the Iranian terrorist regime with computer and encryption hardware, which is just, again, a reminder that people come to this country. They do exceptionally well. They come from a terrible place like Iran was. I'm assuming he left sometime in the last 47 years. And he spends his spare time trying to treasonously support a terror regime while he's living in a $35 million house. I mean, well, what does that tell you about the kinds of people we're letting into the country?
Well, it tells you that we need a drastic reformation of our immigration system. You can't come into the United States and expect for the American people to pay for your food and your housing and other forms of welfare. You can't come into the United States and defraud taxpayers. You can't come into the United States and refuse to assimilate into American culture. And you certainly shouldn't be coming into the United States and using the gifts that America provides and the freedoms that we provide to aid our geopolitical foes in any way. And that's what you saw here, and that's why we have got to get control of our immigration system. The administration is doing a good job, but we've got work to do in Congress, too.
Yeah, and just again, like a guy that had made a tremendous amount of money off of this wonderful system, treasonously working against it while here. What an absolute scumbag. What a surreal story of the FBI raid that I believe happened this morning. Congressman, we appreciate you coming on. Great hearing today. Thank you.
Thanks for having me.
Coming up, in-depth look at Pride Month and its desperate search for oppression.
When you're in the news business, it never stops. News is always breaking, and it's my job to get you the news, no spin, no BS. If you don't believe us, just watch us.
Watch Finnerty, weeknights, only on Newsmax.
Did you know about 1 in 3 people with plaque psoriasis may also develop psoriatic arthritis? With fewer symptoms from moderate to severe plaque psoriasis, where would you go? Imagine being a million miles away. With Tremfya, clearer skin is possible. And for adults with active psoriatic arthritis, Tremfya goes beyond the skin. Less joint pain, stiffness, and swelling is possible. And Tremfya even reduced fatigue. Serious allergic reactions and increased risk of infections and liver problems may occur. Before treatment, your doctor should check you for infections and TB. Tell your doctor if you have an infection, flu-like symptoms, or if you need a vaccine. Imagine being a million miles away. Ask your doctor about Tremfya.
I wish I wasn't afraid to smile.
I wish I could get implants.
I wish I knew who to trust.
I'm not looking for another quick fix.
I want a smile I know will last.
Clear Choice smiles are made to stand the test of time. They're built by dental implant experts, backed by 20 years of pioneering research and a lifetime warranty on premium arches. Our smiles are built for life. Schedule your free consultation today.
This is a paid advertisement for legal services. If you or a loved one has mesothelioma or any other asbestos-related cancer, call now. Asbestos manufacturers sold deadly asbestos materials to thousands of companies, putting workers at risk. An estimated $30 billion in court-ordered trusts have been set aside to pay out claims to asbestos victims. You may be entitled to a portion of these funds and receive compensation without filing a lawsuit or ever going to court. For your free legal consultation, call 1-800-306-1979. That's 1-800-306-1979.
People always ask, why Patriot Gold Group? With over 10,000 clients to date and over $1 billion in transactions, not a single complaint on the Better Business Bureau. Consumer Affairs top rated for 9 years in a row. Over 2,000 5-star reviews. The only company nationwide where you, the client, work directly with an owner. Home of the no-fee-for-life IRA. Gold is up 80% in the last 28 months, 275% since Lehman Brothers collapsed. We are patriots protecting patriots. Give Patriot Gold Group a call at 888-528-4290 before it's too late. Patriot Gold Group is Consumer Affairs' top-rated gold and silver dealer 9 years in a row. Call now, 888-528-4290.
Look what I just found. No ding decline on the Experian app. They show me credit cards that won't hurt my credit if I'm not approved. Turns out I care about my credit health too. Get the app from your big financial friend. Experian.
Hi, beautiful people. It's Jennifer Lopez. I am here to wish you a very happy Pride Month. Let's be honest, you deserve all 12 months of the year. Now let's get loud and proud this month. I love you. Happy Pride.
Did you know it's Pride Month? Could you tell? Another 30 days of LGBTQ propaganda being shoved down your throat, an honorary month in desperate search of oppression to justify itself. Of course, that oppression is nowhere to be found here in the West. The new openly gay Prime Minister of the Netherlands, Rob Schmitt, yes, the leader of the country, openly gay, says every month is Pride Month.
Love comes in many different forms, and that all of them should be celebrated every day of every month. So as far as I'm concerned, every month is Pride Month.
As far as I'm concerned, too. He's right, which is why Pride Month is no longer necessary or really appropriate as a celebration, as some kind of justified month that is needed to release that oppression. D.C.'s mayor says our capital is the gayest city in the world.
We're celebrating Pride Month in the gayest city in the world.
Okay. In Boston, the mayor attended a ceremony with LGBTQ activists outside City Hall where they hoisted the gay pride flag, singing Somewhere Over the Rainbow. Did you know it was Pride Month? Despite all of this, as America is set to host the World Cup this summer, again, they've got to find a reason to justify it. So the San Francisco Chronicle, they do this quite well, desperately searching for the oppression needed. The open hostility to gay rights, they reported, in today's U.S. creates an anxious environment for fans traveling to attend World Cup matches, as they reported on pride houses that are being offered as safe haven for LGBTQ fans. They're trying to create this illusion that we're just hunting gay people here in the United States because Trump's in the White House. A quick community note, the previous FIFA World Cup that was back in 2022, 4 years ago, was hosted in the nation of Qatar, where same-sex acts are illegal and punishable by up to 7 years in prison. But the concern from the San Francisco Chronicle is that people are scared to come to the United States if they are gay, lesbian, trans, or any other of the letters. Podcaster Link Lauren joins us now. Jaimee Michell is the founder of Gays Against Groomers, both openly gay, and we appreciate you both coming on to talk about this. Link, your thoughts on this third day of Pride Month?
Well, everything you just mentioned is why so many gay men and women don't have anything to do with Pride anymore. Number one, we have equal rights. It's been 11 years since the Supreme Court ruled on gay marriage, but there's still gay folks who want to go out there and play the victim card and cosplay like they're oppressed. And then number two, there was never this push onto children. Now you look at Sesame Street, the Teletubbies. Why are they pushing this onto children's shows and kids shows? We should celebrate the innocence of children and not push this onto them. That's when people's backs are going to go up and they're going to say, wait a second.
Yeah, Jaimee, well, that's where we bring Jaimee in, the founder of Gays Against Groomers. We've seen the Pride propaganda really does go after kids in a very sinister way. Social media account Sesame Street had a post, of course, for Pride Month. We see it in many different ways pop up. Your thoughts, Jaimee?
Yeah, I mean, I think that at this point, Pride Month, I hate that it is a whole month. You know, if anything, a weekend would be fine. Definitely not a whole year like some of these crazy people think that it should be. But yeah, I mean, we achieved equal rights in America, like Link said, 11 years ago now. And as far as I'm concerned, and everybody in Gays Against Groomers, we should have gone home, packed it up, like the fight was won. My goal, and what I thought everybody's in the community's goal was to just achieve the same rights as every other American, which we did. But, you know, LGBTQ plus Incorporated is a very big business. And, you know, if we just pack it up and go home, all these organizations that, you know, they are a business model, like they're out of business. There's no money to be made then. So as you said, you know, they have to continue looking for a new way to be victims and a new way to be oppressed, which I find incredible. You know, I love the community note saying how the past FIFA was in Qatar. You know, these same people say nothing about Islam, which you cannot be gay in an Islamic nation.
Insane.
I feel like I'm taking crazy pills for so many reasons all the time, but especially when it comes to this topic. Like, it's just, it's mind blowing. And I'm right there with you guys. We do not need Pride Month anymore. As far as I'm concerned, you know, it's actually hurting us more, especially now that it's going after kids. It's, you know, it's erasing the true progress that we did make in this country.
Where they need Pride Month are in all of these countries that the left in this country never wants to criticize, is where they actually need a Pride Month. And that is the funniest thing of all, as again, they try to perpetuate this idea of oppression here, where people are actually safe to be what they want to be. I got to leave it there. Link, Jaimee, good to have you both. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Trump absolutely trolling the TDS liberals, what he's now saying about that big UFC arena they've constructed on the South Lawn.
Started doing the Heimlich maneuver. That didn't work. We had people around us that were in the medical field, and they said, hey, you're doing everything right. Then people started shouting, get the life back, get the life back. Probably been a minute and a half, 2 minutes without any oxygen. He was completely gray. She put the life back right on his face, did it. He gasped for air. She did it again a few seconds later, and the grape hit the back of the mask.
And the ambulance would not have been there in time to save Jeremiah. He was gone.
Be prepared. Go to lifeact.net today.
I lost 110 pounds. You couldn't tell at all because of my excess skin. Sono Bello changed that in one visit.
Introducing the new Lift EX, the just one visit, total body transformation everyone is talking about.
I am super happy with my results.
I decided to give Sono Bello a try. Look at me, I have a silhouette. You can see my waist.
Lift EX is Sono Bello's breakthrough 360-degree body lift alternative. Our body contouring experts sculpt, tighten, and lift your stomach, waist, thighs, and backside, all in just one visit with less downtime.
Sono Bello targeted the areas diet exercise could not do. I found me again.
Sono Bello has over 50,000 five-star reviews, and Lift EX is exclusively available at Sono Bello, America's #1 cosmetic surgery specialist. Book your free, personalized consultation today. Easy monthly plans make your best body more affordable than ever.
This year is my year thanks to Sono Bello.
Call Sono Bello for your free consultation today.
The road to greatness is long, but greatness isn't just forged from within. It has to be proven on the greatest stage of all.
The hype is real. This is the moment.
waiting for?
It's 2 a.m., your fever spiked and you're miserable. Here's your options.
Urgent care, closed. ER, slammed. And you'll spend hundreds of thousands in both. Telehealth, yeah, but the pharmacies are closed.
That's the reason why we keep emergency medical kits at home.
It has doctor-prescribed medication like generic Z-Pak, amoxicillin, other antibiotics and antivirals. You can treat flu, pneumonia, strep, sinus infections, UTIs, and more.
Because if you're sick in at night, traveling or stranded, you don't want options.
You want what is inside this kit. No waiting, no pharmacy, and no copays.
Just schedule a quick telehealth call.
And that's how you feel better faster and avoid serious complications.
Every family should have this kit, and here's how to order yours.
Order online in minutes and use the promo code to save $45. Your doctor-prescribed kit ships fast to your door, packed with medications to treat over 30 conditions. So when something hits, you're ready. And a wellness company telehealth doctor is always there if you need guidance.
Time now for news from the left. The Oysterman, the Maine Senate Democrat candidate, Graham Plattner, trying to weather the storm as the polls are now tightening. It's looking better for Susan Collins, believe it or not. And it just keeps getting worse for Plattner. On top of his Nazi SS guard tattoo, now a new update. Apparently back in 2019, a Reddit user shared an image of soldiers in German helmets during the Second World War, pointing a Browning automatic rifle at the enemy over a defensive trench. The enemy being perhaps the United States or one of the allies. Plattner commenting on that picture, German helmets and a Browning automatic rifle. What a cool picture, which can be taken a number of different ways. But when you had a Nazi SS guard tattoo, it kind of colors it just a little bit more, and a huge problem for Plattner. But despite all of this, Jewish Senators Chuck Schumer and Bernie Sanders are still all in, because at the end of the day, what matters more than power? So are many others. Take a listen.
Well, he certainly has many good attributes. He has a great background.
Let's let candidates have the guts to take on a corrupt and broken system. And maybe let's understand that nobody is perfect.
And to have a man who's willing to stand up to this administration is the type of voice we need in the U.S. Senate.
If I lived in Maine, I would hold my nose and I would pull that lever and I would vote for him.
Bernie says, yeah, everybody's got their issues. I don't know. 10 affairs in the second year of a marriage while wearing a Nazi tattoo. I don't know. It seems a little bit beyond what most people's issues are, especially those that want to be a United States senator. And finally, the president trolling big time the libs with this one, floating the possibility of keeping the UFC arena on the White House South Lawn potentially forever. The one that's being built for a series of fights coming up here in about 2 weeks. Take a listen to this.
I don't know that in Paris, France, the Eiffel Tower, 1889 it was built. It was supposed to be taken down immediately after the World's Fair. And then they said, you know, we sort of like it. Let's leave it up a little bit longer. And then they said, let's leave it up longer and longer and longer. Well, they never took it down. And, you know, we're building something in front of the White House that's quite attractive to a lot of people. It's going to have the big UFC fight on June 14th. And I'm looking at it, and maybe we'll never, ever take it down.
They went nuts. Big story on ABC, on X I saw, and everybody losing their minds over it. He's not going to leave that friggin' thing on the south lawn of the White House. He's just screwing with people, as he so often does. Can you imagine if he just left that there for the next 3 years? He is funny, though. All right, it's getting really ugly in Congress. What's up next?
Reclaiming my time, asking to shut up. Shut up. Up.
Closed captioning brought to you by MagnaLife Pain and Inflammation Relief Roll-On.
Your muscle and joint inflammation is real. Here's what real customers are saying about MagnaLife Pain and Inflammation Relief Roll-On. It worked great.
Available at your local retailer.
Pump up the volume.
Go ahead. Crank the volume. We got you. USPS has increased daily package processing capacity by 46% in the past 5 years. And with USPS Ground Advantage, your packages stay in our secure network, dock to door, nationwide. For full visibility, near real-time tracking, affordable pricing, for peace of mind. USPS Ground Advantage.
Since 1990, the lightweight Craig Cat has meant quality, affordable boating. Florida Sports Magazine called the Craig Cat an absolutely brilliant breakthrough in watercraft design. With the stability and comfort of a large boat, but the fuel efficiency and portability of a small boat, Craig Cat has put the fun back in boating. Craig Cats are also available in both electric and hybrid models. Call Craig Cat now, toll free at 877-999-4CAT and step into a Craig Cat.
You can join the Tunnel to Towers mission to do good by donating your car to today's veterans. Your car donation will help Gold Star families, as well as injured veterans, our first responders, and our homeless veterans. Donating your car is quick and simple. Any car is accepted, and we will pick up the car for free. Simply call 844-BRAVIS.
By donating your car, you can make a real difference. You can do good.
I still love to surf, snowboard, and of course skate. So I take Cunol Magnesium to support my muscle and bone health. Cunol's high absorption magnesium glycinate helps me get the full benefits of magnesium. Cunol, the brand I trust.
We've been building chainsaws for over 100 years. Now that century of cutting comes in a mower. New blade, same bloodline. Right now, save $50 on select mowers. Steel.
Sonia and Gerald trust Prevagen for their brains, and this is their story.
I'm Sonia.
And I'm Gerald, and we live in Jacksonville, Florida.
We are both military veterans, and we provide dental care for underserved communities. We have a very busy life.
We take Prevagen for our brains.
I would honestly say I like the way that Prevagen makes me feel. At the end of the day, I feel confident and amazing.
Prevagen has been the #1 selling brain supplement nationwide for over 10 years.
Like a relentless weed, moderate to severe Crohn's disease symptoms can keep coming back. Break away to what's possible with Tremfya. Tremfya can help with remission at 12 weeks, 1 year, and 2 years. Some had visible repair of their intestinal lining. Serious allergic reactions, increased risk of infections or lower ability to fight them, and liver problems may occur. Before treatment, get checked for infections and TB. Tell your doctor if you have an infection, flu-like symptoms, or need a vaccine. Break away with Tremfya. Ask your doctor about Tremfya today.
And finally tonight, busy day on Capitol Hill, a lot of hearings. And before we leave, a look at just how uncivil it's getting in Congress.
Not once did you mention Ukraine when you were prioritizing the achievement that's there.
You shut down USAID, so practice what you preach. I yield my time.
She gets to scream now, too? Why is she leaving? I'm going to answer her questions.
I will.
Oh, she's go. Okay, I got it. Well, thank you for coming.
Are you calling me a racist?
A racist?
I'm asking a question.
Reclaiming my time, asking to shut up.
That's a pretty...
Shut up.
Up.
Shut up. It's my time. Tell him to shut up.
Tell you what. Shut up. Finnerty, can I admit that I'm actually a Weird Al Green kind of fan?
The singer or that guy, that hairy
thing? I think he's hilarious.
That's leaving
nuts,
Congress.
But he's
By the
very
way,
entertaining.
Mark Wayne Mullen versus Al Green in a fight.
Mullen's tough.
I mean, Mullen's like a cage fighter. Al Green's got that hair.
Shut up. Just shut up. Shut up.
With his cane. You can bring the cane. Trump has that fight in the cage match and then leaves it up for the next 3 years.
Yeah, he's a funny, weird guy.
Oh, you're a weird guy, Ace.
Weird guy, Ace.
All right, Rob, we'll do it tomorrow, I promise.
Finnerty's got the movie quotes, by the way. You should drop those in the show. Just
honestly, it's the stuff that, yes, that's what I'm most funny. During the show, I'm so serious. Sometimes, not all the time. Rob, we'll do it tomorrow. Finnerty starts right now.
Information. Truth is freedom. Is Newsmax. It's real news for real people.